There is a place like no place on earth. Some say to survive it, you need to be as mad as a hatter. Which luckily, I am. Alice, it's you. You're back. Alice!
Alice!
The Alice? You're absolutely Alice. I'd know you anywhere. You're all late for tea!
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Review, episode number 303. The film I'm going to be reviewing for you guys today is Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland is directed by Tim Burton, and right off the bat, that should give it away that this isn't going to be your normal Alice in Wonderland type of film. This is going to be a Tim Burton, weird, surreal, trippy, acid trip sort of a movie. It stars a newcomer, Mia Wasikowska, 5-star that for me pronouncing that right, as well as Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter, Anne Hathaway, and Crispin Glover. And Alice in Wonderland is kind of it's not exactly a sequel as much as it is kind of a retelling, but it's about Alice when she was about 6 years old. She had this dream where she went down a rabbit hole and went into this magical place called Wonderland. 13 years later, she's 19 and she's about to get proposed to, and she's nervous. She doesn't really want to marry the guy. So she follows this rabbit in a waistcoat and she trips down the rabbit hole once again, and she comes back as a 19-year-old, and some crazy surreal stuff starts to happen to her. She meets a bunch of familiar faces that you've been used to seeing, you know, the Mad Hatter, the Red Queen, the White Queen, the Knave of Hearts, you know, the blue caterpillar that smokes out of a hookah. Maybe it's a hookah, I don't know. And a bunch of other people that you would recognize. Right off the bat, I will say that Alice in Wonderland visually, and in case I haven't mentioned this yet because I haven't, 3D glasses. That's why I'm wearing these, just so you know. It's in 3D and it's playing in IMAX, but it was a film that was shot on 2D and is converted to 3D. I personally could not tell. I know a lot of people say they can tell. I personally could not tell. The 3D looks amazing. Visually, the film is stunning. There's so much stuff going on in every scene. Lots of vivid colors and things like that. It is, however, a little bleakened because this is a Tim Burton film, so all of the colors that would probably pop off the screen are kind of drowned out a little bit because it is a little bit of a bleak Wonderland, if that makes any sense. Also, the performances from Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter are really fun to watch, and they're really outstanding. I mean, Johnny Depp is playing this like insane, psychotic version of the Mad Hatter, where 1 second he's speaking with this slight lisp in his voice, and almost reminding me a little bit of Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. I don't know why, but I got a feeling of that at some point. Maybe it's just the way he talked. But in other points of the film, he's talking with like a Scottish accent, and it's very weird and very crazy. Helena Bonham Carter is also really good as the Red Queen. She's this villainous character. She likes a warm pig for her aching feet, and she looks really cool. She has like a head that's like 3 times the size of her body, and everything looks really fantastic. And she's really a joy to watch on screen. However, when those two people are not on screen, I really could have cared less about Alice in Wonderland. I think the main problem with it is that, yes, visually it is absolutely stunning, but I think aside from the visuals and aside from Depp and Bonham Carter's performances in it, the film really doesn't have too much to offer. I mean, I think the plot is paper thin here, and I don't think Alice in Wonderland is necessarily known for having an amazing plot, but there's not really much to the story once she gets in Wonderland. And also the final act of this film, I mean, it is a Tim Burton film, and I'm expecting a lot of crazy, very original things to start happening, but the ending is very by the book and by the numbers, and it all feels very been there, done that. There's literally an epic battle sequence that happens at the end, which feels very standard and frankly kind of boring. Also, the ending to this film is a little confounding. It has to do with trade with China, which feels really out of place. That's a really minor nitpick, but it just feels very weird. I mean, all in all, Alice in Wonderland, if you're going to go see it for the visuals and see it for Depp and Bonham Carter's performance. I just don't think that it's that incredible of a film. I think if I had watched this movie on DVD instead of seeing it on an IMAX screen in 3D, it would really lose a lot of stuff. So all in all, I give Alice in Wonderland a surprisingly 2.5 out of 5. I was surprised that I didn't like this movie more. I think Tim Burton's a fantastic director and all that, but he needs to infuse a little story into this film instead of just beating me over the head with all these visuals that look amazing, don't get me wrong, but I need a little bit of a story to back it up. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. I will be back tomorrow, sans 3D glasses, with another review for you guys.